So today I'm going to take a look at some of the pieces that I hadn't looked at on our last critique hour. So that was the Ancient Weapon Design Challenge. And this one is our beloved Tom submission that I didn't take a look at. I'm so sorry. I was looking through so many. I missed a couple. You guys should just remind me because you guys are on my Discord. And then this one is Daniel's. I'll be taking a look at that. Hopefully I have time to take a look at it. I wanted to talk really quickly about shadows, so I'm just going to run Portrait Studio real quick and then get right to it and then get into these. But before I do, I wanted to talk about some of the corrections that people did, and I think they're wonderful. So this one did a correction here, matching the style of the arm to the bow, which was beautiful. This is one of the finalists for the contest. So for anyone who is part of our community, please go over and vote. The vote's pretty much decided now, but give these other guys a chance, you guys. I know that this one looks super professional, but some of these also have wonderful. I know I voted for this one. You shouldn't be talking about who you voted for though, so you don't campaign for any specific person. But remember that everyone has their own unique representation of our character for our challenge. So give the others a chance. Have a look at them, see what they spoke about. Take a look at. Try to find them in the submissions. I'm sorry I couldn't link all of them. I was very busy. I barely had time to set this vote up. But try to find that those who submitted, don't just take it at face value and see what you can, I'm not telling you to vote for this person. I'm just saying take it at face value and see what you can, we can get out of each one. But I know a lot of you have, I'm not saying don't vote for anyone, but I'm just saying there's 4 other, but again, it's just a landslide. Anyway, so some of the corrections. So yeah, please vote for the winner. The winner is going to win a bunch of stuff. And taking a look at the challenge submissions for those who corrected, the one that really caught my eye is this one. So the critique for this one was all about how the character looked like a villain in the previous version. And this final draft, you really did respond so well to the critique. I love seeing that because your portfolio is that much more powerful now. And I'm just really, really happy with the changes that you've made. Sorry, one sec. Yeah, these changes here are just the way you made her face look a lot more soft, the way you kind of eased up on the baldness in the head. I just think you did a wonderful job. I hope to see more of these kinds of submissions in the future. And please, if you don't, take a look at previous challenge critique hours. They offer a lot of knowledge that you can use in upcoming challenges. It isn't just about what's current. It's about an accumulation of all the knowledge we've covered in all the challenges. And I'm getting more and more sick. You don't know when I'm going to die. So please, take a look at them. So I don't know how many challenges we're going to have. I'm grandma guilting you right now. You don't know how long you have me for. So yeah, go watch those other challenges, please, so that you can get a full spectrum of what's expected when it comes to character design layout, or the different roles of different colors, what different colors represent, what different kinds of faces represent. And especially the villain challenge should have covered a lot of the changes that you guys chose, or all the choices you guys made early on. But some of these corrections are wonderful. I'm really proud of them. I really love seeing this kind of response. Some people posted really late. So I won't be able to look at those, but I hope that the critique from the other, those who submitted the other submissions helped you kind of decide what to do and what not to do with your submissions. But this was a very, very successful challenge that we had. I hope the upcoming one will also inspire you the same way. And if you enjoyed these challenges and want to have more of the same, you can support the channel through Patreon, even just as a watcher. But our upcoming February critique hour for Patreon is on the, I believe, next Tuesday at 4 p.m., the 27th, from 3 to 4 p.m. or from 2 to 4 p.m. Sometimes it's a 2-hour critique, sometimes it's a 1-hour critique, but we look at pretty much everyone's submission. They will be doing this challenge as well, but with a much more wider range of, just design and customizability, and we'll be talking a lot more in depth about what it is, all just accumulation of all the challenges and what it is to design a character to create their world through them. That'll definitely be a part of our critique hour. for the patrons. So that is in the apprentice category, which is kind of an alternative to private tutoring. So if you're interested, you can find me there, even if that's just to watch or to be part of the community. But it is not mandatory. I'm not saying you have to be a patron to be a part of the community. This is open for everyone, and all the challenges are open for everyone. This is a free challenge open for everyone. And I've only just recently made it about contests. I don't like contests. I've never liked contests. And I even have a distaste for the one we have now, because it's kind of putting some others ahead of others, and I never really liked that dog-eat-dog attitude. I liked it when this challenge was all about submitting and learning, but I also wanted to give you guys something back. So that was kind of probably some of the only times I'll do it, one of the couple times that I'll be doing the contest, just to encourage more people to join, and more people to attempt it, and more people to try something they've never tried before, and plan a painting, and do blueprints and thumbnails. All of that is the, really studio stuff, and I like to encourage people to do that. Thank you to everyone who followed the rules and who was very giving with their critiques and helped each other out. I really love seeing this in the community. These challenges bring the community together. And if you have any suggestions, you can find me on Facebook. You can talk to one of my mods. This challenge was a suggestion from one of my mods, and then I just expanded on it. So if you have a suggestion, I'd love to hear it. I'm not really the go-to authority on creativity. If you guys have something you've never seen before and want to try, you can get a hold of me and submit it there. And then I think that's it for, I've talked about the nice corrections I saw, Patreon, and the vote, and I think that's it. Let's get started. So in Portrait Studio, what I wanted to show you really quickly is the shadow range on a portrait. When you have an extended shadow from the nose coming like this, it's only the nose that's casting a shadow for some reason when you guys try to execute this kind of lighting situation, this kind of portrait setup. So what I wanted to show you is what a face really does when the nose shadow is that long. You don't just have a nose shadow that is this long. So let's extend the nose shadow the way you did, all the way to the lip. Look at what happens to the eye sockets. So let's turn on the balance light so nothing is just hidden. I'm going to take a screenshot of this, and let's just have a look. Where is that stupid zoom up? God damn it. Can someone please recommend a better image viewing software that I could use, something a lot more efficient and less Windows 98? Thank you. So what I wanted to show you is just a side-by-side of what you have here. Look at how long your nose shadow is. It's sharp, it's long, it's a very strong light source, like a universal sunlight, mid-afternoon, high sun, and what you have here is you're missing the socket shadow for and this is your 14th day. Surprised this hasn't been brought up already. Okay, and it's basically an issue with this. You don't have any of these eye socket shadows. So I don't critique every single graduate for the 14-day challenge, but I definitely offer it as a kind of an encouragement for you to finish your challenge. So if you, if you feel like you didn't get enough critiques, get as many as you can from your community. And then I'll take care of the rest if I have time, if it's part of our, part of the theme that we're covering for that day. Careful not to let it go too dark. I'm not taking questions right now. What? You can change your... I'm not using Photoshop as a Windows view. That's ridiculous. I'm not opening Photoshop every time I want to look at a picture. Alright, so let's talk about the kind of face you drew. You drew a very adolescent, boyish girl face. It's what I call a mousy face, because all the details are so delicate, and the face is delicate, and it's a very detailed face that if I was a character designer and I'm building this world around a protagonist that has, let's say that it is the Garth Nix books and it's that main character, I forget his name, Arthur, I forget his name, who has asthma. I would give him this face, or something similar, or a boy version of this face. What you have here is a very specific type of face. It isn't universal. This is universal, because this could be anybody. This could even be a man. So I've talked about how you can use the female model in Portrait Studio as a male character as well. It's not back and forth. It's why I use this one so much more. Yes, it's starting as female, but you can use it and adjust it to look more manly. So this is more universal feminine, and this is more specifically scrawny but really good looking kind of protagonist with a bit of a trouble kind of getting the girl. It's not a very universal portrait at all. So after adding in these shadows to sync it with the rest of the light, I'm just going to bring in a bit more maturity. So I'm diffusing around these shadows. There should be another shadow just down here. I'm kind of now just bringing up these shadows you have everywhere. So you have a bit too much black everywhere. And unless the lipstick is only at the top lip, it wouldn't be that black. Okay, so what would we do to make this face a little bit less scrawny feeling, or just a specific character type? So I would expand it to be a little bit more square. Square means a little bit more built, a little bit more bulky. I would take the rest of the face and kind of just rework each feature separately. So taking the eyes apart by a couple of points. So I'm just reorganizing, and I think that's something you haven't done much of in your 14-day challenge. You've pretty much just tried to find a better way to draw each feature without thinking about what it means to have these specific features and what that means to the character's face. So it's not just about how best to draw this specific type, but what are you saying about the character? Sorry, it's really stormy out. So I'm just going to give the lips a little bit less of a mousy thickness and more of a fullness to be a little bit more universal. It's still going to look like the character you intended, but it's not going to be such an androgynous, specifically scrawny, weak kind of sickly face. And that's really what I mean. The face felt sickly, felt skinny. And you really shouldn't be worried about details like this, but I feel like I should talk about it. This is kind of more an advanced kind of thinking process for portrait artists, to kind of question whether or not, what kind of person is this? Are they the kind that are confrontational? Are they the kind that shy away from confrontation? Are they the kind that go get what they want? Or are they more thinkers? Are they more doers? Are they physical? Are they intellectual? Those are the kinds of questions. Those kinds of questions decide what kind of portrait you're drawing. You may think that it's a free-for-all, but it is absolutely not. I'm decreasing the distance between the nose and the mouth, so the face has a bit more connection. So what I would want is, okay, for you to know that you drew this very scrawny-ish type of face, and that in doing that, now you know how to draw that face when you need it. And you won't really tell unless I do it before and after, kind of what I meant when I noticed the type of face you drew. Do you see that? It was a very long, skinny, asthmatic, just needs a couple of, it's basically me when I was a kid. This is exactly what I look like. I had glasses, you had your braces, you had your short haircut. If you were a girl, you had a long ponytail or a braid. This is the kind of stuff you think about. It's our business because we're designing characters. So do you guys see the difference? So this was a bit more free, like this would be the free-for-all. It would be for all kinds of character types. She's in between scrawny and a doer, a thinker and a kind of the love interest, or the pursuer. It could be male, female, just like we have over here. So you want to be very careful with who you're drawing. Write that back to me. It's a very, very big one. Can I get a hell yeah? I need some water. Oh, I do have some water. Okay. Be attentive to who you are drawing. Not just who you are, not just what you're drawing. Amen. Got too excited. So right over here, I think the neck is fine. Honestly, I think the neck is fine. I like it. So I wouldn't change it that much. If you want her to feel a little bit more athletic, her neck can still stay thin. Oopsie. I'm so sorry about my sniffles. A couple of my old videos, my sniffles bothered people. First of all, fuck you. I was sick, okay? I'm sure you guys have gone to lectures where the teacher was sick, but I'm very sorry. I'm sorry about my sniffles. I know they're gross. You see what happens when we thicken the neck? It just gets to be a bit strong. This character is smiling, if you haven't noticed. So yeah, I hope you've noticed. And I would just kind of adjust, you know, because when you add in the radial shades, it starts to look like a smile really fast. So be careful with that. Make sure it's an intentional smile. So write that back to me. Make sure all emotions are intentional. Do not have accidental emotions in your 14-day challenge, because this gets stuck with you. You get hired by some video game company and they want you to draw a very depressed character and you're always drawing him smiling and you just can't seem to understand why. It's because you have this permanent emotion that you've memorized as the staple go-to face emotion. The shadow of the chin is less sharp than the shadow of the jawline because it's further away from the neck. So this is all the stuff you've missed. I hope this has helped. Do you see how it feels like a fish lip because the mouth is so wide? Right, a little bit more structured, less of a collapsed jaw, less of a long face. Male or female, honestly, everything goes here. I do want to mention that you have the temple line as not consistent and under the eyebrow as it is above the eyebrow. It should be all the way in like that. That's not the eyebrow is not a dam for light. All right, it's not a dam. It doesn't hold back light. All right, it's not a border that light can't cross. The eyebrow comes first. The eyebrow bone, sorry, comes first. The eyebrow comes second, and that means that the bone, the dense thing, is affected first before the eyebrow. That the table chooses the shadows, not the tablecloth. And if you guys keep making mistakes, my metaphors will not stop. They will keep coming. They will haunt you. I will send you letters with metaphor. Okay, and then finally, all my jokes are cringe. This is my curse. The eyebrow is not a dam for light. Yes. I really don't know what's happening here. Stuff has crashed. I don't think it's Portia Studio because this happens all the time. Okay. So the inner corners, for some reason, just boop right out of the eyes. So they should be going down. I did want this to be a short class because I'm not feeling so well, so I'm going to try to hurry up. Okay, so you just need to make them a little bit more symmetrical. And then another reason why the character felt a little scrawny is because the ears were very big. So a big ear is like a kind of indirect way of making the head feels small. Shrink the ears, the head will feel big. Just like a scale comparison. The pupils you've drawn are too large. You're losing a lot, but if it's supposed to be beautiful, then I guess you get away with it here. Before, very mousy, kind of like a Joker character. Very long chin, long nose. Alright. I just wanted to take a look at your day 1 and day 14. So this is a definite improvement. If you have definite hold over your contrast a lot better. You know how to sculpt a head. You understand the beard shadow. Now your responsibility is characterization, knowing who you're drawing. knowing what you're drawing is what the 14-day challenge is about, and who you're drawing is the challenge that comes after, and who you're drawing is about maintaining likeness when you're rotating. So I suggest a 3/4 view 14-day challenge to get you through into your perfecting your characterization. Do we have any questions for the 14-day challenge submission here? Salad Song says, eyebrow doesn't give a damn. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Yeah, amazing improvement, absolutely. I don't have any other 14-day challenges to look at, but I am going to look at our Yaretsis here. So for this one, I did actually see this one. I'm not sure why I didn't catch it. I even downloaded it, I think. This one, the body feels very, very like tall and masculine. So continuing on with scrawny, I guess. So image size. The body was extremely, extremely masculine and long. Can anyone tell me why it feels masculine? It's very easy for me to outline that, but why does it feel masculine? In fact, I still need to put your studio open. Gosh dang it. So you can have a masculine female body type, but as long as you keep the curvature show. So I'll show you with our figure, but there's only so much you can do before it starts to look like a freak, right? Before it starts to look like some sort of Frankenstein type of thing. So I'm going to choose, let's say I'm going to choose that, yeah, and then enlarge it. All right, so this is about as far as you can go. This is what gymnast bodies look like. They're very short, very stubby, but you see how you still have the curve? And when I say after a certain point it'll look like a freak, this is what I mean by it's completely irrational, uncanny. It's just not, it just makes sense. It's just freaky to us. So what the hell is going on, you know? So let me just bring it back to where it was before. See how wide the hips have to be? This was the before. This was the gymnast body. About just around here is what I would give a gymnast body. And this was the freak. And you can go all the way into here. Women can have hips that are this humongous. Yours truly has the largest hips on the world and largest bum in the world. It has its own orbit. In fact, that unusual weirdness in the moon's orbit is because of my bum. It started around 1990 when I was born. Okay, so women have very big hips. It is our curse. And this would be about the average. This is you can do here, you can do all the way down here, but you can't do this and you can't do this. It's always something in between. What you did was, okay, so you did this and you kind of got rid of all of the curvature in the body. And the curvature in the body has a lot to do with the female, like just the waist and the hips. Yes, she's thick. So you gotta make her thick or else it doesn't make any sense. There is nothing familiar about it. And when the character is super long and missing the hip width and missing the curve, no, this doesn't count. This is not a curve, no, because the curve, as I just mentioned, is in the hips, meaning that this is all standard place. This is all pretty much the same width the guy would have. It's just about what comes after. So this, and this, you don't shrink this to make these look big. You enlarge these to make this look big, to this look small. All right, that's the distinction, because if you were to shrink this, then it would make sense. For males, it's the exact same size. For the waist, you just have bigger here, and then probably same size down here. Slightly bigger, so you have the triangle. Okay, these two have to remain the same. All right, between male and female. It's these outer shapes that shrink. So it isn't just about pinching this just a little bit, because now she looks like she's missing some organs. All right, the head was very, very large, and you're pretty much drawing like a, almost something like, that reminds me of that. That's what I see. That's if I were to draw her as a caricature. So that's a body type problem that you had. I don't know if you've posted working lines. I think it is Photoshop that's doing this. I mean, Portrait Studio that's doing this. So I don't know if it is, you know, references, or you did enough thumbnails, or if your thumbnails weren't really followed up, or you didn't get enough critiques on them. But this is definitely a big issue. The breasts are really high. They feel like pecs. Remember, breasts droop. And because they droop, they're kind of lower than the armpits, whereas pecs are right up there with the armpits. Obviously a little lower, but they're just pretty much connected in, where breasts droop down. So this was a very big body type issue. I like the design that you had, but I recommend you watch the critique hour that we did, so that you find out whether or not, you know, you followed all the steps. Obviously the design of the arrow, the design of the bow, and the design of the arm are all kind of different from different, kind of coming out from different inspirations. So you try to keep those all synced. This knee, for some reason, isn't measured. It's not that far. So references, this chat, like any other challenge or any other masterpiece, is a good way for you to test whether or not you have something to study, to test where your weaknesses are. So your weakness is right now is definitely in figures and creating familiar characters and familiarity in the anatomy. Definitely shrink the head, and she's very, very long. So, oops, come on, Photoshop. And if she's long, she needs a long neck as well. The neck is a giveaway for that more feminine silhouette, a longer neck. And just a smaller upper body would really help. Whoa. Whoa, Nelly. Alright. Sorry. Cough medicine always makes me a little dizzy. Okay, so I'm just kind of like giving her body type a bit more of a feminine silhouette. Even if she's long and lanky, you know, even if she's big, she can still have feminine features. So before, see where the knee was up here? It was like the legs were different length. Before, after, the breasts were too high, they felt like pecs, the head was too circular. Things are feeling just a little bit more, yeah, just a little bit more feminine and familiar. I like her pose, I like her expression. It's very, very nice. You definitely have that going on. You definitely felt the character. That's what I like to see. A lot of people didn't have much of an expression going on. So very similar to Tom's. I don't see much of an expression. I'd love to have seen something. She's up on a mountain. She must have some kind of response to her surrounding landscape, maybe even just squinting in the sun. If she is concentrating, maybe her eyes are wide open, but her eyebrows are kind of angry and focused. Kind of like the 1,000-yard stare. She kind of felt like she was smiling. I don't want that. She's a warrior, a ruthless warrior, kind of jumping across fields and killing enemies. Alright, so that alone has done so much. The landscape, the size of the landscape was too big. It was bigger than she was. And if this was a book cover, this would be bad framing, because we no longer see the character as the main focus, and it made her look small. And also, it kind of feels like she's a little short and stubby, and that's because you're trying too hard to put the headdress ahead of everything. And in order for her to stop feeling short and stubby, you just have to shrink her head. If we shrink her head, we'll kind of get that more long look to the body. She'll look less stubby and less small. She'll look more tall and more strong. So it's a bit of a temperamental liquefy here. Okay, so we started here. We gave her an expression. We cropped and we enlarged her in the canvas, and then we shrunk her head. All right, so now she seems like she's more prominent, and this like kind of type of green you got going on is a bit too, it's not blue enough. A blue-green would be the kind of green we have if we're seeing an atmospheric fade between us and the green. So the background should be more blue, and she should be more green. Also, she's very red, which I don't think, so just look at her skin tone. This is where her skin tone should be. She's very, very red, and unless she's painted red, and if she is, just go for it. Go for the full points. Make her fully red if she's painted red. Why be so in and out about it? If you want red to read, you exaggerate the red. And that's about it. I think the skin tone was a bit off. You're having a lot of glow. I recommend not a full-on glow because we need nighttime scenes to show off a glow. So if you want, you can make it nighttime and make only her eyes and her bow like we added nighttime to the other piece. Or you can just minimize the glow and focus on the sun and what it's doing to the gold on her body. It doesn't have to be about the glow. The glow can be minimal. We can still tell it's glowing without all of the super high saturation. But some of my favorite submissions are the ones that experimented a lot, the ones that kind of thought outside the box and still managed to make the character make sense. So for the upcoming challenges, remember to try to push your creativity as far as possible. Other submissions that also caught my eye were the ones that stuck close to the characterization. They didn't try to be too creative. They knew where their strengths were and they focused on those. And they fell on traditional designs of a bow and arrow, kind of like an archer. But they managed somehow, because everything was so centralized and so anchored down into reality, that their colors were better executed. So you want to be somewhere in the middle so you can have some creativity and some wonderful form and color. And you know, that's what I have as like a final idea about what we learned about from this challenge. Too much creativity is a bad thing because it opens up way to over detail your painting and throw off the focus. Too much creativity kind of feels like you're disrespecting the story that you're working from. You also want to always want to stay anchored to the story as much as possible. So let me see if there are any questions. Yes, Portrait Studio is a program you can purchase from my store on istebrak.com. Speaking of which, Portrait Studio is undergoing another major overhaul update. And this one will change the price a little bit. It will come with a hand model, a completely transformed UI, tons more texture studies, full-on fabric study models, a lot of stuff. So it's definitely going to be different from what you're used to. It's definitely going to need a new manual. The one that is available right now is available here. If you've bought Portrait Studio and you don't know where the user guide is, it's on the community tab of my website, and if you want to get it, it's on the store. I do have a couple more comments about challenges coming up. So I wanted to run a poll, and I want to make a quick little post. Actually, I'll do it right now in front of you guys so you guys can make sure you do it. Where are you? So what would you like to see in our next challenge, in our next community challenge? All right, please make your suggestions here, even if it reaches 100 comments. The more involved you are, the more you get out of these challenges. So this is a very big one. Please make sure you respond to this one. And if you have any questions at all about the 14-day challenge, which is a constantly ongoing challenge in our where is this? In our channel, in our community. The questionnaire for it is in the community tab. If you scroll down, I've answered all the Q&A questions on the 14-day challenge. So for those who saw today's 14-day challenge and are inspired by it and want to know what the rules are, they're all available on the Q&A section of my website. Let me try to see some more questions and then we can call it a day. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice a bit. Let's sing like a gospel. And I suggest everyone who had a critique to correct their Yaretsi design, because it's something that you can add to your portfolio, and that is a lot. That's saying a lot. Seeing that you can work with creativity, you can even post the blurb I wrote on your portfolio as the little description on the side for the painting, so that employers can see you work really well with writing. This is big, you guys. For anyone who wants to make a couple $100 a month off freelancing, starting out, this is how you do it. And hopefully, if you're doing it long enough, you get really good at negotiating and really strong portfolio, you can start making a full livelihood out of it. If we already own Portrait Studio, how do we get the update? The update is automatic. It just comes to you if you already own it. You're very welcome, Angelina. Thank you for getting my brushes. I think your colors are pretty good, Daniel. I think everyone's colors are pretty good. Tommy could have moved them over a little bit into the green so that the skin tone can change. Background could be a little bit more blue for yours, Tom. And the green that is directly forward between us, not much atmospheric blue air between us and the background, those more foreground, those greens can be a bit more yellow. At what point should a beginner attempt the 14-day challenge? All of these questions are here. Please read through them. It answers everything. Okay, so what were the critique hours? Yep, I think I okay. Thank you for the critique. It really helped me, and I'll work on your feedback for my next 14-day challenge. I think you're pretty set, Katie, for a 3/4 view 14-day challenge. You did pretty good. I mean, more than pretty good. You did wonderfully. I'm not sure if it was 14 consecutive days. That would be crazy if it was. But I think you did amazing for your first shot, and I think it's time for you to apply the corrections I made today for your day 15 and go into your 3/4 view. I think you're more than ready. You need to start from the ground up, and you can do that with 3/4 view. It's going to be a big challenge on your rotation. You're very welcome, Daniel. Any more questions at all? You missed one of the better ones from the challenge subpage. I probably missed a couple more. I'm only doing these because the artist contacted me, but I tried to get to everyone. I'm sorry. I'm only human. I can't get through like 200 submissions. I can't. I did what I could last session. I hope that was enough for you guys. And I think that's it for today. Thank you everyone for joining. If you want to join the community, go to istebrak.com and get all the information out of community tab. Click on the Google Plus icon to join our community. Read the rules, please, and join. Make sure you vote for our winner. If you enjoy what you're seeing and you want to support the class, you can support it through Patreon. And I think that's it. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.